I think that the 4-year-old has been abused by Justin. I have seen prints on his face that look like somebody squeezed his face.
I have never been physical with my children.
When I asked my grandson what happened, he told me that my son grabbed his face. My son and Hannah told me that the dog must have done it. The 4-year-old has told me that he hates me and that I'm a The 4-year-old is mimicking his parents.
We do get into screaming matches in front of our baby. We have been starting to notice that her first reaction is to just scream and yet like a blood-curdling scream at the top of her lungs.
I can't help but feel guilty for putting her in that environment to begin with.
They just wanted to argue about what was said by a child or not said by a child. I don't want to talk about topics. The issue is, are these children living in a toxic environment?
Definitely the arguing, but I have never put my hands on my kids. I will take a lie detector test. I will take that to my grave.
And that is
I have never touched my children, and that is not something that I'm going to be put into that class.
Are they in a toxic environment? Yes. With us, screaming at each other, it's not okay, and we need help. But those kids have never been abused. Ever.
She's not saying they have been physically abused. She's saying what the children are reporting. And the children are being abused. They're just not being physically abused.
And I can agree with
Yeah,
that.
and
Well, all right, I'll tell you what. Joining us is Dr. Charles Sophie, who is on the Dr. Phil Advisory Board, and he is board certified in 3 clinical specialties: adult psychiatry, child and adolescent psychiatry, and family practice. He also happens to be the medical director for the Department of Child and Family Services here in Los Angeles, which is the largest agency in the country. Dr. Sophie, you've been listening to everything that we've been talking about here. What do you have to say?
I'm really, really sad for your kids. I mean, you don't understand. Brains grow a certain way, and when they hear a scream, the brain changes in its growth. So imagine all the screams and all of the abuse and all of the feelings that these kids have. How do you think your daughter feels sitting strapped in a chair watching her mother being hit? That's hitting her brain. That's changing the way she's going to develop. You've already done the damage. So continue it and you're going to really be sorry.
There's been a lot of research about children who grow up in violent environments. And I made a list. These are all things that we see in the lives of children that have grown up in volatile environments. Are you not a perfect example?
that's what I was just going to say. I mean, if you look at this list right here, I mean, besides 1 or 2 of those, I'm every single one of them.